Now, Shane referenced and mentioned the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among those rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But here's the catcher. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That's you and I, ladies and gentlemen. When we send them to Washington, we don't give them ownership of the store. We just let them manage the store. But they believe that once we send them to Washington, they own the store. And I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, you got to remind them that you own the store. You own the store. We the people have had no input in this debate. Now I know that they've stood up here and told you about plans. This plan, that, ladies and gentlemen, there is no single plan. Do you understand what I'm telling you? There is no single plan. Now, Chip and Mrs. Maxwell alluded to it. What would happen if, you've heard of bait and switch, haven't you? You've heard of that. That's what you're going under now. There is no single plan. What will happen is they will get you interested in 2 or 3, go in the conference and do what they want to do. Are you following me, ladies and gentlemen? I want you to listen to me. There is no plan. If I'm sitting up here talking to you about a plan, you know what I'm doing to you? I'm bait and switching. Because once they get in the conference, they're going to do what they want to do. Do you understand what I'm telling you? What you need to tell them, if this passes in any form, you're unemployed. You're unemployed. Now you say, where do I get the idea that they can do this? Where do I get the idea this is unconstitutional? Well, all you have to do is read Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. It gives exactly what the Congress is authorized to do. 18 items. Yes. Article 1, Section 9 gives you the power denied to Congress, things they can't do. Article 1, Section 10 tells the states the things they can't do. Now here's the catcher. You say, Mr. Freeman, why is that important? Because now I want you to go to Amendment 9. And Amendment 9 says that nothing enumerated in the Constitution can be construed that the people are not in charge of the store. Read it. Amendment 9. You are in charge. One of the considerations for our government when this government was planned, when the frame of this country was, that the federal government would get too large. Ladies and gentlemen, it's here. The federal government is too large. But what they want to do now is you have to draw a line in the sand and say no more. This is it. And if you don't do it, and I'm going to say this until you understand what I'm saying, you're unemployed. You're unemployed. You understand what I'm saying to you? The Constitution starts out, ladies and gentlemen, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union. It's we the people. It's not the we the Congress. It's not we the state. It's not we the rich. It's we the people. That's our document. It is we are in charge of the store. All you have to do is get the Constitution, 7 articles, and 27 changes. That's all. You get it and you read it. We the people are in charge. This is our country. This is not theirs. This is our country. In the words of Thomas Jefferson, our 3rd president, and the president, the individual that wrote the Declaration of Independence, here's what he said. Let no more be heard of confidence in man, but bind him down from mischief by the chains of the Constitution. Let no more be heard about confidence in man, but bind him down from mischief by the chains of the Constitution. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I want to remind you And I want you to think about this. This is not to be in humor, but this is what I want you to think about. My forefathers grew up in a government plan that included full employment. Full employment. We had free food, we had free clothing, we had free housing, and we had free medical care. Some would say that we had it made. But ladies and gentlemen, we didn't have one thing, and I want you to be careful of this. We didn't have freedom. You understand what I'm telling you? We didn't have freedom. I implore you, don't fall for the switch and bait. You understand what I'm telling you? Don't worry about writing a long letter. You understand what I'm telling you? Yeah. If it passes, you're unemployed. If it passes, you're unemployed. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think about that. And I want to thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I will leave you. This is a great country. Don't let no one take it from you because you own it. This is your country. It's we the people. Thank you. God bless America.
At the same rally in Omaha, Nebraska, Dr. Derek Berdanette gives his experiences in the Canadian healthcare system. Listen.
It's Dr. Derek Berdanette, who graduated from the University of Manitoba School of Medicine in 1982. He interned and did his residency in diagnostic radiology at the University of Manitoba. He received his fellowship training at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, and he left Canada to practice in the United States in 1989 and became a U.S. citizen. In Canada, yeah, I can support that. In Canada, prior to his radiology training, Dr. Berdanette worked 2 years in the emergency room and continued to work in the ER part-time during his residency. Dr. Berdanette can tell you how bad healthcare was in Canada 20 years ago and how it has gotten even worse after he left. He will share examples of friends who have died and others who have been left with permanent disabilities from delays in healthcare delivery. We're pleased to have him with us today. Please welcome Dr. Derek Berdanette.
Well, thank you very much. I'd like to thank Dr. Batter. He gave an excellent speech, and rather than reiterating everything that goes on with the government-run healthcare system in Britain, the same as Canada, I just want to share with you some examples of government rationing of healthcare, followed by some examples of how rationing healthcare will affect you as individuals. I left Canada in 1989 after training at the University of Manitoba in Winnipeg, which is a city of a population of 750,000 people. I was lucky enough to leave Manitoba and go to University of British Columbia for MRI training in 1989. In 1989, Canada had 3 MRI machines, Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal, all with populations over 2 million people. I moved to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, population of 90,000. They had 2 MRs in that one town alone. While in Sioux Falls, in Winnipeg, 750,000 people, there were 2 CAT scanners that people had to wait for. 2 CAT scanners for all those people. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, population 90,000, had 4.